Two questions for you. One is, Nathan, is he actually left-handed, or is it just something you wanted him to play in the movie?
He is, I believe he is left-handed.
He is left-handed. In fact, funny story, the prosthetics guy that built the chest that Nathan rips up and does the puppet, you know, because we had the low budget, like Darren said, we pretty much didn't have a safety net. It was like the shot, we have one shot, and if we blow this expensive prosthetic, we're screwed. You know, it's going to be like some ketchup and some, you know. So the prosthetics guy, the guy that actually built it, did some of the cutting, because if you cut it wrong, it's screwed. And the prosthetics guy was right-handed. So he was such a badass. He's like, I can do it with my left hand too. Walked in and did it, and it's like, just cool. So, yes.
And the second question was, how long did it take to script all of the music and like lay it out, figure out what you were going to do, and record it?
Terrence and Joe.
Well, I'll start that, and Joe can finish it, because that's kind of how the process went too. Repo, because it's been, for those of you who don't know, Repo started on the stage. Started as actually a two-person show, myself and Darren Smith, the co-writer, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. And it just sort of grew. And so Repo is all along, even before we knew it was going to be a movie, has been a process of adaptation. And so we knew, for example, when someone said, okay, you're going to make it into a movie, we knew we had to really reevaluate the libretto, because there were things in there that were designed specifically for a black box theater and wouldn't necessarily translate on the big screen. And a good example of that specifically is the Testify scene. That was written, that was another song entirely before. We had a song and a scene that was the opening of Gene Co's opera, but we never had an opera house in the black box theater. Never had a budget, and so it was like, okay, it was basically the two brothers and Roddy doing almost like a vaudeville type of small thing. So we wrote the Testify song with the idea that we're going to make it very, very big. So it's always been an adaptation process. How long it took? It's been 8 years. I mean, I don't know. It's been constantly adapting. But I know when Joe Bashara came in, we met Joe. And we met Joe on a night where we were interviewing several would-be music producers. And at this point, we knew we had 97 tracks or 57 tracks of music, sung dialogue, sung music, and then something like 35 score pieces. And we had like 2 months. And so we needed someone that was just a badass to come in, absorb all this material, and then realize it for the screen. And Joe Bashara is that badass.
As far as the time goes, it was when I came on, the first hurdle to sort of come up to was to get the music ready to record vocals for the actors, because the whole thing obviously was shot to playback. So we had to get all the vocals ready, and the music was not ready at all. So it was I think it was almost 2 months before we were ready for. It's about 6 weeks before we were ready to get the actors to do their vocals. And then after that was only the first step. That was just getting barely enough music to where it'd be enough to inspire a performance. So then get the actors' vocals recorded, let them go shoot, while we keep recording music and keep recording more music, and then keep tweaking, editing vocals, comping. Mixing was probably 4 months of work on the music, and then another maybe 2 months of mixing, and then I spent another several months after that working on the score with Darren Smith. So this has been basically the last 1.5 years or so of my life, pretty much. So.
Well, thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, sir.